Hello, we are here with the Patchr team and Makey Makey team to talk about Makey Makey and Patchr. And we're here for our webinar with Makey Makey and Patchr. So we've got the Makey Makey team up top. I'm Colleen Graves, Director of Curriculum, Content, Marketing, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This is Derek Greenberg, and Derek is our product manager and product developer, and I don't know, you wear 20 hats too. I don't know if I want
Director of product and
partnerships.
Well,
Director of product.
It's anything. So if you're my 8-year-old son, I'm the PP guy. I'm the director of everything that starts with P.
Oh wow. And then we also have Eric and Beth here from Patchr. So I'll let you guys intro yourselves a little bit. Eric, you want to start?
Yeah, hey, I'm Eric. I'm the CEO of Patchr. I'm super excited to be here. I do wear a lot of hats and really enjoy the partnership with Makey Makey because we get to Makey Makey cool stuff.
Ooh,
nice.
Really? That's the intro you're going to leave me with, huh?
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Beth from Patchr, and I'm the head of operations. So it is literally my job on a regular basis to wear a lot of hats.
I like that. Derek, let's talk about the back of Makey Makey, because one thing that I think makes this partnership interesting and different is that it does focus on dun 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 dun, not the front, but the back. Oh, that was hard to switch around like that. The back of Makey Makey.
So the back has these headers, which not a lot of people use, right? And these headers are basically really small ports that we can plug things into. And in the past, we've plugged things in like wires into it. And about 9 months ago, we released what we call backpacks, are boards that we can take and we can plug these into the back of the Makey Makey. And now instead of having to use wires in a frustrating way, we can actually use alligator clips. So now this is our Player 2 backpack. And I have WASD FG available to me now in an alligator form factor, rather than having to plug in wires directly into here. So we released 3 backpacks. Player 2 is the yellow one. We have Makey Mouse, which is all the mouse controls back here. And then Makey Max, which is all the above. So we have all 3 of these available to us. And part of this in releasing the backpacks was, why don't we open it up to other partners? Why don't we build an ecosystem around the back of the Makey Makey? And Patchr has our first partner to explore what that looks like in terms of a backpack. So with that, I'm going to kick it over to Eric. If you want to talk about the Click Clack Backpack, but first probably just Patchr in general in terms of a introduction, and what is Patchr?
Thank you. So Patchr is software that teaches students how to design real electronics. So what we do is we take you through a process. We take the students through a curriculum that teaches them everything they need to know about what they're designing. We give them that feedback along the way to make sure that they're successful in their designs. And then at the end of the lesson, we manufacture what those students have designed, and we deliver it to the classroom in about 7 days. And what you'll have is a little bag of components with your custom circuit board. Colleen has one there. And then you'll follow an assembly guide that walks you through the steps of how to put it together. This one uses soldering irons. We teach you everything about soldering to really ensure that your students have success. For Makey Makey, we have what we call the Click Clack Backpack, and I can show you all a video of how it all comes together, but this is the most basic version. It's just 4 keyboard keys here. These have their keycaps off that control ASDF, I think. No, WASD. You can remap how you want, and I'll show you. This is your most basic version, but this is mine. I did a dino themed that goes into my, I'll put this, I have a sock puppet too that it goes into. So I have this cool sock puppet and then it fits on the outside, and I have the spikes on the outside. So you can control the Makey Makey in fun ways. This one I have as a synthesizer. So there's really, really awesome unlimited possibilities in what you can do with it and what shape you want to produce to show off the use case.
I did the Blobo board. So I know, Colleen, you can talk about your board too, but Eric and Beth were nice enough to give us demo versions of the software, so we were able to produce our own. So I used to be a middle school technology teacher, so I know all about students just trying to get through it and building the weirdest stuff. And so I put on my middle schooler hat and I built the Blobo board. And I built the Blobo board because it's also gave me the opportunity, because PCBs always look rectangular. They're always rectangular, right? It's probably the most efficient way to do circuit boards. And so I wanted to explore something that was not rectangular. So I built, all these different curves into it and made it fit. But yeah, the Blobo board, and it fits right on the back of the Makey Makey. And it doesn't have a fun design element like Eric's does in terms of the sock puppet, but it just was something that I tried that was a little different and went with it. But yeah, it was a great kit to put together. I do have some soldering experience, but at the same time, it was something that I feel a middle schooler could easily, with a little instruction, nail. So, Colleen, what did you do?
Well, I like that. You're just saying it like, obviously I didn't do anything. I want to show you this because this was my inspiration. So this is a little bearables kit I bought at the right store in England a few years ago, and I had to keep it because it's so cute. So I tried to design a little bear, and this is what my bear looks like naked, because I didn't solder it because I wanted everyone to see what it looked like before you soldered it. Which Derek says is the easy way to say Colleen didn't want to solder it. So you get your buttons, really nice click clacky buttons, and you'll hear those, and you're going to solder those onto each little spot. And so then this is supposed to be his little eyes and his nose and his mouth. And so like you can adjust and put it wherever you want. And I drew these white lines on in the software in Patchr. And I noticed, Derek, you put WASD on yours in with the Patchr software too, which I thought was cool. See, I tried to draw little ears. Mine is nowhere near as cute as the Pie Maroni bear. But, just tried to show like that I can make something sort of cute other than a straight rectangle. I guess it is still rectangular down here. I did try to make a coffin a few times, but I had trouble getting that design to work. So when you get the Click Clack Backpack, you get 2 boards. Everybody gets 2, right, Eric? So in case they messed up.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, in case you mess up, you get 2. And you get 4 buttons. I should have done Derek's throw it on the table style. You get 4 buttons and the keycaps. And I learned from our partnership that keycaps are a thing kids are into.
Yeah. And you can use your 3D printer to customize them, or I used oven clay.
Yeah, you look like almost like that Subaru stuff, or like that modeling clay. This is what you actually attach to make the header, to make the female header that goes in, or the male header that goes into the Makey Makey side. And then you have an LED on there to show you that your backpack's working when you press a key press. There's 2 LEDs. It's everything that comes in the Click Clack Backpack when you get your materials, and then you follow the guide like Derek said. So Derek, we were going to talk about why Makey Makey thinks something like this would be important, with the idea of invention literacy and building circuits, and kind of how it aligns to our goals as a company of seeing the world as a construction kit.
Yeah, and I actually I think building circuits and understanding how essentially the platform of a circuit board and a PCB works it's one of the foundational skills of invention these days, because you very rarely pick up anything that doesn't have electronics or some type of code living in it. And that's why I wanted to actually ask Eric a question.
Okay.
Because Patchr is very different than if you picked up any other PCB design software out there in the classroom. So for example, a popular one out there is called Eagle. and which is a drafting CAD program. Eric, can you talk a little bit about how Patchr is different than maybe some of the other software platforms that people have seen possibly in the past?
Yeah, definitely. I think our biggest differentiator is that we provide guidance and curriculum alongside the CAD experience. So you're not teaching your students a basic circuit and then letting them go and they're trying to figure it out. All the tools are built within Patchr to ensure success. So we have kind of a AI engine that's giving you feedback about your design process, what's working, what's not working. And then you as a teacher can also see everything that your students are doing and comment on their progress, help them out if you need to digitally, and kind of manage it all from there. So it's really meant to be a complete, easy onboarding experience for anyone to create and invent what they've imagined. There's really no restrictions to it. Yeah, it's super fun. It's a ton of fun, and we're browser based, which is super unique. All our competitors are usually Windows installs. So if you have a Chromebook or you run Chrome, you can just use it easily on your computer.
I'm thinking you can see my circuit traces pretty easy there on my bear. But like, I like to do paper circuits, and this was very different than doing paper circuits. Like I had a lot more, I felt like I was back to when I was trying to do fritzing. I'm not great at that. So I was challenged, to try to, get my traces to go to the right buttons and to get everything to work. And whenever I was incorrect, the AI would redirect me like, hey, something's a little bit wrong here. So try doing this again. So it was really helpful in that it does tell you when you have a mistake. It doesn't just say you have a mistake. It does tell you how to fix it, or it gives you hints about how to fix it. I know that was like one of my most frustrating things about learning Arduino was that it didn't tell you what was wrong. It just told you something was wrong. So I appreciate that.
And that's one of our core beliefs, is that problem solving. We really do believe in that, and giving people confidence, because this is hard stuff, and there's a reason why you're not seeing this in many classrooms. So our software is really built to give that feedback, to give that guidance, and to really produce the outcome that your students going to walk away and say, look what I invented. And they're going to know exactly everything that works and how it works in that circuit, because of how it's all built.
I'm going to bring Patrick Benfield on because that felt like a good segue. He is a teacher here in Austin.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, Patrick.
Hi, Patrick.
So because we wanted to so we have our special guest star, a teacher using Patchr. It's you. and your co-host back there. A teacher in, hi Sophia. A teacher in Austin, Texas, using Patchr with his students. So we just want to give you a few minutes to actually tell us how it looks to use this in your classroom.
We love it. I've worked with a middle school teacher, and so we're primarily using this in 6th, 7th, and 8th grades. And it's been a blast. We're also the unofficial bug finders for Patchr, so thanks for that. But it's been lovely. When we first started, we knew we would like it, but we just weren't sure how to get started. So we were pretty kind of cautious, and I think we were overly cautious at first because we hadn't done soldering in a long time, so we wanted to do some practice first before getting into the circuit tracing and design stuff. So we actually, in our kind of process journals that we keep for their design class, we call it a tinkering journal, we did some practice soldering in their journals with copper tape, just to kind of get used to it, and then had parts, and we soldered parts and made working circuits with similar parts that they would have in the kit. And then once everything came into place, it was actually, the students did an amazing job. We start off with the basic lesson of a blinky badge kind of a thing, and they knocked it out and really took to it. And I think they finished in like an hour or so with the basic lesson, which surprised us because we were thinking it's pretty complex and just tracing and putting all the components in the right spot and designing a custom shape for the board. But they really took to it pretty quickly, and so now this is school year 2, and we're trying different things. And so our approach to integrate it, because it's like by itself, it's like, great, they can make a PCB with stuff on it, but what do they do with it? And so that's what I love about Patchr, because they leave that room open. It's structured, but it's not super over structured. We have to kind of follow a precise thing. So once you've got the circuit, what we do is we've been wrapping it up into a design thinking kind of process. So we're doing one that it's they're making a speaker. And one of the things that we explore in middle school is the idea of kind of what Derek mentioned, but we call it hardware, software, chassis, and how those things interconnect, because most inventions involve those three elements. So it's not just coding, it's not just a hardware, you got to put that in someplace too. So a lot of it is exploring different elements of hardware, software, chassis. And so for the speaker, they're making an enclosure for it for a specific use case and a specific user in mind. And then we're exploring, we haven't done the backpack yet, but that I think is our future, because I think that would be a lovely thing for maybe our middle schoolers could help design that for a younger grade. And then that could go, because typically like for Makey Makey, we start, around 3rd, 4th grade, they're doing a lot with that in the classroom. So being able to have our students make kind of a helper backpack for our younger students to just seamlessly integrate, I think would be a great kind of design challenge in and of itself. So it's really flexible. The software and the platform just gets better and better with every update. The students love it. The parents appreciate seeing things that they, for our parents that come from like an engineering or tech background, doing things that they did in college, but they're doing this in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. It's mind blowing for everybody. So yeah, I can't say enough good things about Patchr.
Patrick, important
Thanks,
question
Patrick.
for you.
Yes.
How much burn ointment did you go through last year? None. Yes.
all that practice paid off. I mean, our worst burn was actually with hot glue.
Yeah.
Oh, was it the glue or the actual?
It was
the
the
tip,
glue.
yeah.
It was actual glue. They, too much information, but they were putting it too much into a small container. They they shoved something in the container, and it just got all over their hand and just stuck there. And like there's a scar, and so we use that as a lesson. Like, hey, that's just hot glue. Imagine a soldering iron. So
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you give them the fear for the soldering iron. That's all you got to do. Just give them the fear of like, you burn that and you're going to the hospital. They're like, oh, no thanks.
Well, and I'll interject and say one thing we do offer is professional development, and a key part of the professional development is teaching teachers how to maintain soldering irons safely in the classroom. And I think Patrick's a testimony that you can do this with 6th and 7th graders and not have anything bad happen. That a hot glue gun is often more dangerous than a soldering iron. So we guide you there as well, because we do want to have success in the classroom and not have burn kiddos.
Yeah, for
If
sure.
you want, I can share a link to just Instagram stuff, and you can scroll and see some of the kids in action and some of the process from soldering, some of the tinkering journal stuff.
That'd be great.
And then let's see if I can copy paste. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, because especially like middle school, if you're in a shop or tech ed situation, the soldering iron is just as dangerous as any other tool they're using, right? It's just that it's hot versus sharp. And so it's following standard safety procedures and making sure it gets turned off and all that stuff that you would normally do in a tech ed classroom just needs to be followed with a soldering iron and you're good to go. A lot of people, because I soldered with middle schoolers, and it was also the same thing. It was like nobody's burning themselves because they understand that it's dangerous and they pay attention. So
my 8th grader uses a scroll saw.
Whoa.
Wow. Gateway to engineering.
And she's got all 9 fingers still?
She still has her fingers. Thanks, Patrick, for sharing sharing how you actually use in the classroom. I feel like there was something else about the backpacks that we were going to talk about that I feel like we missed. I'm not sure.
Invention literacy, maybe a little bit.
We're going to talk more about invention literacy and how everything in the world is created with stuff that's all around your house, and you have to look at how things are made so that you can understand how to make new things. kind of the idea of invention literacy. So if I'm looking at, now I can't pull up a mouse, but if I look at my computer mouse and I pull it apart, I am actually going to, you've got one there. I'm actually going to find a little circuit board inside, because that's one thing I do when I start out with Makey Makey, is telling kids, like, everything does have a little computer inside now. Kind of like you said, or like Patrick said, everything has a software, hardware, and the chassis to go together. How are they all built together? Now we're not just looking at simple inventions. We have so much tech in everything that we're using. So when they find that out, they're like, oh, wow, really? And, just explaining that Makey Makey is its own circuit board that has one
sure.
function. I know what it
And that-
was. We chose WASD FG for a reason, but you guys chose WASD for a different reason. And that reason is Minecraft. So
Yes.
Minecraft, and how Patrick said that he was thinking about designing it for younger kids. And I thought, what a great idea to design for them to do for the little kids could also do those keycaps for Minecraft, but then use it with Minecraft. So that's what I was thinking.
And I designed a whole, I haven't, I don't have a laser cutter anymore, but I designed a whole Minecraft axe,
Nice.
that the Makey Makey and Patchr's backpack fit into. So they can actually have like a realistic controller kind of thing
Nice.
while they're playing. And I think that's the cool thing to think is like Makey Makey is very good at using found objects around your house to prototype and really think about the design process. And taking that one step further with Patchr, you can kind of shift that into some more industry realistic opportunities to showcase how it's really how electronics are manufactured and built, and everyone can have their own thing. But to Colleen's point, I was talking to a guy who teaches ag in Mississippi, and they're teaching all their ag education kids in high school how to design electronics and how to write software. And I asked, why are you doing that? And he said, well, every John Deere tractor has 3,000 circuit boards in it.
Oh, wow.
And it costs a ton of money to push them out. And right to repair is obviously a big thing with them, and it's a big contingent subject, but they're working on trying to teach these kids these skills so they can repair these tractors that are no longer just mechanical beings, they're electronic beings.
That reminds me too, I just took my daughter to go to the high school and visit all the academies, and we stopped off in automotive tech, and we're talking to the automotive tech teacher, and he was like, hey, don't discount this as something you don't want to do, because now fixing cars is like 90% fixing computers.
Mhm.
There is so much technology in cars, and just even to that, like I was at Emphasis Crossroads last week, and I said, we have to start thinking about computer science as more than coding like apps and games, because computer science is like in everything now. So we're coding our cars and we're coding our lights, and there's just so many things that, like, so much smart technology that our children are going to grow up to do. So if they can also, on top of that, learn how to build the circuit boards that go inside, and then learn how to build physical creations that are actually exciting for others to use. I mean, all of that really is encompassing invention literacy.
One of the first times we talked, you talked about how the process, the design process for PCBs and circuits for electrical engineer is drastically different than it was 10, 15 years ago, right? Like, so the idea of breadboarding a circuit and all that fun stuff, a lot of it gets done on the computer now. And can you kind of talk to that point about Patchr's place in that a little bit?
Yeah. To your point, prototyping and especially in high school, you're seeing a lot of breadboards going around, and it falls short. It's an old tool that was used to understand how circuits work. I'm not against breadboards. I have a ton, but we end up teaching our students this, and a lot of them end up flunking out of electrical engineering degrees because they're not understanding or learning the real tools. And that's where we come in and really emphasize that aspect. It's not we work on mimicking the physical world. So you're not putting things in and seeing how they work or testing them and debugging it. All that happens online. And it goes back to that problem solving. We really emphasize that. And the biggest problem in PCB design in the last 20, 30 years is that the normal process was you go and you design something, you put it online on your software, you design it out, you send it to fab, you wait 10 days, 2 weeks, sometimes a month. It comes back, then you populate it with all your components, and then it doesn't work. And so you sit there and you try to figure it out. And you go through that. I think there's a SparkFun article that says you go through it 12 times on average until you get to a working board, which is absurd. And that's not fun for any student learning, you know? And our whole thing is we take that problem solving aspect, to Colleen's point, and put it online so that if there are issues, you're experiencing it there, you know, you're debugging there, you're going through all that there, so that when it comes out, it works. And it's not that we're showing students success no matter what, it's that the problem solving is happening pre-fabrication, so that everyone can move forward together and progress through the lesson together.
Nice. And I actually have an example with our backpacks of that process that you just talked about, in terms of, so we went through the old school process. So this is our prototype 1. Notice it's very rudimentary, very just like rectangles, just proof of functionality. An updated version, which we worked on getting everything looking like a product. And then everything moved to a surface mount component. So this is all through hole, like your Click Clack Backpack, then surface, and then a final production run. So you see kind of this is, I'm missing, actually, there's one in here somewhere that's kind of in between these two. So we didn't do 12 boards, but we definitely did 3 or 4. And again, this is 2 months, 3 months worth of waiting. It's, you know, because I get this in the mail and I put it together in 10 minutes. And then I test it out, and if something's wrong with it, I sit for weeks and weeks, like you just said. So just to give people an idea, like this is how products go through the process when you see a circuit board based product.
Yeah, and we try to shrink that down into a curriculum so that it's, I think the Click Clack Backpack is a 6 classroom hour project. So yeah, so you're not going to be doing the months and months of development. We can build a lesson like that if you want to, but I don't think your students will be happy at the end.
No.
And that's 6 hours. That's design and assembly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, we have a raffle for 20% off a classroom pack, and I have already identified the person, and I'm going to send them a message right now, just to make it fun for them in their inbox. So Alicia from New York City Schools is winning the raffle for 20% off classroom pack for Patchr's backpack, Click Clack Backpack, and she says yay. And if there are any other questions from the audience, this is the perfect time to do so. And I have a question. Derek, have you tried Blobo with Minecraft yet?
I've not tried it. I did make sure that all the keys worked and the LED. I did have to go back and hit the LED with a soldering iron one more time because I didn't.
Show us your beautiful soldering just one last time. You know, show us on the back, because you said through hole like everyone knows what that is, and I know that everyone doesn't know that until they start putting together electronics.
It's hard to
look at that.
Focus. There we
go.
Oh, nice.
So your solder is supposed to be shiny and it's supposed to look like a volcano.
Yep.
In terms of
Good.
shape. So that's what you don't want, anything looking like a pear.
If it had been if I had done it, those through hole parts where the headers are would be like, they would have been Blobo.
One more question I actually have for the Patchr team is, what is your like ideal, the first standard deviation age group for Patchr? Like,
Yeah.
what grade am I? If I'm a 6th grade teacher, what am I like? What is your ideal educator?
Right now it's 6th, 7th, and 8th. We work well there with kind of anyone in that spectrum. High school depends on what type of engineering education you're doing, if it fits with your curriculum.
Perfect.
Yeah, but generally, when we look at state standards, we align with middle school state standards. We align right now with CSTA hardware and software. I think it's 7th and 8th grade standards.
And I don't remember if we said this or not, but so what happens is people will go to Patchr, they'll log in to the Click Clack Backpack. They probably are going to want to do what Patrick said. The is it Hello Blinky? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's Blinky Badge. Yeah.
Blinky Badge. The Blinky Badge first. And then once the students have completed Blinky Badge on the computer and it's approved, then it goes to your warehouse. You guys have the PCB designed, and then those physical kits actually come in the mail and you get to put everything together. So with Click Clack Backpack, you're designing what the board shape looks like. You're deciding where the keys are going to go, and you also get to do this fun silk screen on top. And then they come in the mail, and you get to solder together the keys, the header, and LED. So it's a lot of fun.
And actually, Patrick's classroom, we just got a shipment today of Patrick's classroom. So I'll be going and putting all that together and sending it to him in the next hour.
Nice.
And I have to say too, after all of the adult created boards that I have seen are cool and really creative, but they don't hold a candle to the creativity that we've seen come through from the students, and how much every classroom order that comes through, we're blown away by how creative these kids are and what they're using these projects for. So
yeah, kids always have so much better ideas than we do as
And
adults.
I
You know,
think,
oh, go ahead.
sorry, I was going to say, I think that's an important thing to move to is we often get asked, what can you make? And the answer is you can make like anything as long as it has 4 keys on it. The possibilities are endless. And then y'all know software integration with Makey Makey, you can do anything. You know, you can trigger action commands on your computer, you can control Minecraft, you can manage a synthesizer, you can do whatever you want. So
and that's one of the most fun things about the Makey Makey is that the front of the board, everyone's really familiar with. The back of the board really opens up the possibilities, and the remapping capabilities in Makey Makey really just blow open the creative.
And we didn't mention it, but we actually created a ton of new apps to help use the back of the boards, especially because we released our backpacks too. So now we have in the apps, you can have a piano that now isn't just up, down, left, right, space click. It also is WASDFG, and it is the mouse inputs. And there is a new poster app where you can put your own images and your own sound. And so the cool thing is now you get to be creative in this handheld way, but you can also be creative with even without coding, you can be creative with our new app tools, because you can use the sampler or the poster app and then move on to coding in Scratch or MakeCode and even Minecraft. So awesome. Well, thanks everybody. If there's any questions, let us know. Is there anything else we need to say that we missed?
no, if you have any questions, don't be afraid to reach out. We're here to help.
Yeah. Do y'all want to put your social in the chat?
Who's social? Our social security or our
Yeah, put your social
social?
security.
No, Eric. I'm
Your
stepping
checking
in.
account
No.
information. And maybe we can just put, well, we already know the link to the Click Clack Backpack. Let's put that one last time, just in case people haven't seen it. And we thank all of you for coming today. Congratulations, Alicia. We'll send you that. I have your email address already, so I will send you, well, actually, Beth will probably send you the code. Thanks, everybody.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Everyone, have a great day.
Have a good day.
Bye.